Hello, this is Pierre Dur. This one I'm doing now. It took me a while to take the other one off because it was in just small pieces. Um, Everything is going to be blue and blue for you. And I thought I had gotten this thing that was, tissue paper because I've worked with tissue paper before and it's easy to do it on the wall. Not all the time I use tissue paper, but I use different things that's easy to stick on the wall and didn't take right off. And I thought when I went to the store that I had blue tissue paper, but it wasn't. It's more like a plastic type thing that I got. So it's by pretty much, I made a mistake. But from my last ones, you can't be so picky when you get to different materials. You got to adjust to a lot of things because we have this splash art. It has to be done at a certain time, but it's got to be really, I'm going to call it, I say professional, meaning that it has to be done the best as possible. So anyway, it ended up being like a plastic type thing. And of course, like I told you, it wasn't tissue paper. And I usually deal with the things because in your mind you have everything like you want to do perfect. And I can say after maybe a while when I do this type of flash art, like this is a different kind than what I did before, you pretty much get to know it to where you don't make as many mistakes on the materials as you do. But now it's kind of fun to make certain, changes or whatever. But my whole concept was that it had to be blue. Now, because it's in a plastic, I wanted to be the tissue paper also to be the ingredients for the things that I'm going to put in it. This is the blue. I wanted to be the backing, and I wanted to put something on the backing of blue, which is also blue. And as we know, light exposes everything, so it would be mostly like shadows and things like that because I wanted to use the same kind of paper. But being that this is a plastic, I would think that the blues I'm going to have is going to be different tints or shades because, I'm not going to worry about getting the same exact blue. So now I just got to put it up on the wall because this is going to be the backing. It's going to be called Blue for You. Now, I have to see how this thing is going to work. Wow, it sticks very well to the wall. And I may cut it. Just may. I hope I'm still in this thing. I'm hoping I got to fix my pants. Okay, so let's see this. This is interesting. And I may be able to use the blue of the paper, of the background, the blue of this, So it would go along with what I wanted in the beginning. And like I said, what I wanted was the material that I put in the back for the blue. I wanted to use it to do the things, ingredients inside. And I may be able to do it because this one is so big and so long. So here we are. I gotta stay on screen. That's my only thing I have to worry about. So maybe, let's see. This is weird because I never had this before, to where it's just sticking. And these are things that we're learning too, We're learning about all of this because we're not being so picky. So when you're not so picky, like for instance, I wanted to use tissue paper and I could have said, oh boy, I can't use tissue paper now. What can I do? I have to wait. I have to take this back and stuff like that. But it's not like that. So like I said, this looks straight to me in real life. So I told you I can't be a stickler on whether this is exactly straight. If you notice my art that I did, I'm not really a stickler on that. Okay, now now what happened was that I think this thing is really long. Let me just put this over here because I don't know. I think this thing can turn around. I gotta turn this. Okay, let me see. See if I can turn it without moving the oh yeah, it's gonna turn. Okay, so here we go. So I'm gonna try and see how far I'm going to go. And it's nice because it does stick. You know, I hope I'm still on screen. Yeah, it's nice. It's just like a plastic. I mean, you know, I'm sure you can pretty much tell what I'm going through. And I guess the traction or whatever is kind of holding it up. But I'm still gonna put tape. So here we are. And maybe I might put it down a little bit, but this looks good to me. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move it over more. I don't know how that's gonna, oh look at it, just moved right over. That's really, oh here we go. It's really neat. Oh look at this, now it's not sticking. That's strange. Okay. Oh, I hope I'm still on. Yeah, I'm still on. That's my only worry, is to be off screen. Okay. So that looks good. Now, it looks like I'm gonna have to take, because the traction that I had in the beginning, I guess it was static electricity. Seems like when I slid it, well, it's still working, yeah. See if I can get that static again or whatever it is. And like, you know, like things that you learn like that, you don't want to, I mean, I could Google it and find out, but in this state of mind, like I told you, like you don't really want to know. You don't want to know, not everything. What I'm trying to say, you don't really want to like Google and find out mentally what it is, okay? Because it won't be precise, but you want to absorb it in your artistic ability. And because I feel it, I know what happened, so you want to add it to your artistic ability. If you go into technologizing it, you're in another room. You don't want to do that. You want to stay there so that you can learn all about the concepts where you are. It's a different place. Like, I know it's a static or whatever, electricity or whatever, I don't know what it is, a friction, but you don't want to think about that. You want to absorb it and let it continually build while you're doing it, so that when you come across it and it could be matched with something else, then you'll be able to find it better. But if I leave and I go, oh, let me go see what Google, or let me ask somebody else, you're actually distracting your process. So let's just stay here and not worry about it. Just know it happened. This thing happened like this. And now I'm trying to, another thing when you do art, a lot of artists don't realize, but you're taking this like a how can I say, a very large amount of information at a time. And a lot of people don't realize it, and they get kind of woozy, or they go into like this space or whatever. But you gotta realize, like when I'm doing this, I'm getting so much information, but if you know my YouTubes from now on, especially with dancehall music, which turned into American yoga, you'll find that whenever you do something, especially like this or studying everything, your whole body is affected, your whole mind is affected. So you have to prepare yourself for that and let it and absorb it and understand it. It's very important. Like for instance, like when I was doing this, I felt like, wow, you know what I mean? But I knew because it was just so much information. So I'm taking in the information as I'm doing it, as I'm talking to you, because I'm used to it. I've been doing this. One thing about it, I've been doing this ever since I was like a little kid. So I mean, I know exactly. I'm able to describe and what's happening to myself, and I can explain it to you, and you don't have to worry about it. But for me to learn that, it took a long time, you know. And a lot of things happen for me to understand that. And you just get the information from me, so that's good. So here we are. Okay, now this thing is gonna keep playing with me, but I'm not gonna let it play with me because I'm not gonna take it for granted. I just wanna get a straight, I think this is good enough. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape it. The only thing I wanted to use that friction. I call it friction most of it. It's more like friction. But it's friction here. I'm calling this friction. It doesn't have to be exactly friction, but in this artwork that I'm working with, I'm calling it friction. Okay? So it's friction, what I'm calling it. Like I'm saying, I'm here, and I don't want to lose that. And I don't want to go, I mean, I could get like a hard piece, something flat, and kind of flatten it out, but I'm not going to do that. But I did get a blue tape, and I'm going to use this blue tape. Maybe if I put this a little bit further so you can see the whole thing, or wherever I'm working. Anyway, I just got to talk louder. So anyway, I got this blue tape anyway. I thought I was going to have a problem using it, but look at it. It's so easy. So now I'm putting a tape, like, thank God, because the thing about it is going to be so easy to tape because of the friction that I've called this thing that's happening. Okay, so it's going to be pretty big. I didn't realize it would be this big, which is going to change also the art in it. So it looks like the only thing I have to worry about is tape here, but I'm going to tape it on the bottom too. And put it all the way. I was gonna cut it. I still don't know if I will cut it. Look at that. It works so well. I don't want to, I just want to do it with my hands. I know it has wrinkles a little bit, but I don't want to do anything else. Now I'm going to do, I hope I'm still on, yeah, I'm still on screen. I'm going to, let's see. I'm going to tape it on the sides. This thing is not falling. I thought I was going to have so much problems with it, but it's not falling. And from my experience, I can take the tape so I know where to hold. And this is easy tape to use. It's very easy for the walls. It doesn't, my number one thing is not to have the walls messed up, because I have to do it over and over again. So now I'm just taping the tape to hold it a little bit better. And then we'll have our blue background. And it's blue for you. Oh, okay. And I'm gonna do the sides. I don't know what's going. Oh, I hope I was off screen. No, I hate that. I don't want to be off screen. Let me move this like this. Okay, now I'm on this side, and I'm doing these sides. Like I said, I can't. I don't know if I can trust the fact that it's has this friction, and I'm calling it friction. I don't care what it is. I'm just saying in this project that we're working in, I'm calling it friction. The fact that it sticks to the wall. Forget about what it is, because I'm in here. And that's very important for you to understand. Even with music, a lot of people want to, you don't learn new things in music if you keep looking for how everything connects generally. But sometimes when you're working on something, you want to stay in there to learn new things, okay? Because you're actually saying, okay, this doesn't exist, only this exists. You can't do that, if you understand what I'm saying. So I'm calling it, so you can use the terms, but you know I'm using the terms for this blue for you. I'm saying to myself that I'm calling it friction, no matter what it is. But to me, it's friction under these conditions. And you can remember that, and you can keep it, and it can help you to understand more about what actual friction, what we call actual friction or static electricity. But what I'm saying, you don't want to say it's static electricity. You don't want to say it's friction. You want to stay inside the project and say, I'm calling this friction. And then you can bring other things later on as we continually do these projects. So anyway, that's how I figure it's best to think for now. Okay. It's best to think like that, because then you come up with new things, okay? I'm also doing the bottom. I'm not, how can I say? I'm not taking this physics or whatever happened, the friction that's happening here, I'm not taking it for granted. So I'm going to take some of them out, if I can, get the wrinkles out, but it's not as important to me. Okay. And I think I have it. Pretty much have it down pat. Oh, I'm off screen over here. I gotta keep moving this thing. When I move, when I turn, I gotta move it. Anyway. So, we're almost finished with this. Pasting it to the wall. And it turned out to be very simple. So so you always learn things, and you got to utilize the things you learn. Like for instance, I know now, don't think everything is what it is. You got to be more cautious. But it helped me. But like I said, like I just knew it was tissue paper, but it wasn't tissue paper. But it also helped me. I don't want to think like I can do that all the time, take chances. But now I know I have to read on things and make sure that they're like that. So that's another thing I learned. And like I said, I didn't take it for granted about the friction that we call in this project, or I call it friction, whatever it is. And I still taped it, but look I thought I was going to be taping I thought I was going to be taping tissue paper, and I didn't, and that would have been taking a long time. But now we have this project, the backing already done, okay? And I'm almost sure I wanted to put black around it for the border because I don't like the way the tape looks. But then I would have to get masking tape for black, which I'm not worried about right now. Now we got the figures, the things that we're gonna put inside here. How I'm gonna do that, I'm not sure. But I do have some blues. Let's go over here and see something. Maybe I just might work with, oh, I know I have blue in there, but if I work with that same paper that I worked with on my former ones, should I bring up the last project? What was the last project? I mean, I can take my time and figure out. Oh, it was some time, wasted time. I could use that same paper, but I think it's a darker blue, which I don't want. And should I make it dark? Okay, but let me see what paper I have in here, okay? So I'm gonna move this over a little bit and see inside here what kind of blues I have. Because I keep a lot of stuff that I don't use. I don't just throw everything away. But if I utilize it, I mean, if I buy it for a project and I have leftovers, I pretty much keep it. I have this kind of blue, and this is definitely tissue paper. I have this blue. I have this blue, which I could use also. So I'm gonna put that aside. I don't wanna, and so that's it for the blue. I have these two blues, and I can look on here and I can show you how that would look. So I can make a decision on that. I also have, it seems like I have blue paper, but it's gonna be blue for you. So I definitely want it still to be blue. And I may go out and buy something blue. Because my concept was for it to be kind of vague, you know, like sadness, vagueness, you know. And I don't want to get off screen. So, I may do that. Okay. It doesn't look like I have any more blue things. Let's go back here. Okay. So I'm looking for more blue, which I don't think I'm going to find. And I have blue paper. And it's not so much blue. Should I change the concept of it being blue? No. I still want it to be blue. So that's it for looking at my ingredients that I already have. So, what did I decide to do? What I wanted to do is I wanted to do some kind of a face or something with someone sad or blue, or just like things that go along with being blue, some kind of activity as far as the blueness is concerned. So I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that. I want to check one more place for the blues. So if you understand what I'm saying, it's all blue, and then I want to do like shapes or something kind of sadness. I pretty much wanted to make it like into like a sad face or sad faces or something like that to describe the blueness of the project. Now I'm looking at this plate, and I do, let me see. So there's a blue, another blue in here. that I have worked with, but like I'm saying, this is blue. So what I'm saying, I mean, I don't think I want to use this blue for what the blue or what it's gonna be, you know? I just didn't want to do that. You know? I mean, this is blue, but I wanted more close to this. You know? Something like this, blue. Because I wanted it to be more like, and this is like a bluish green. So I wanted it to be more like an effect. Like, for instance, as close to this blue as possible, which is that kind of shade of blue. So this is going to be it for right now. And I've decided not to use this kind of blue. So I'm putting this back. And I'm going to stay with what I have in my mind. It's going to be like, I think like a sad face or something. But now I notice one thing. It's so grand. It's so big. But like I said, the shapes and everything is going to be pretty much the same color as this. But everything has to be blue. So next time you see it, I will have the blue done. And we'll go over and I'll do I usually don't talk on that. When it's finished, I just do a showing for the art. That's 111 blue for you. And the only thing that happened was I wasn't able to use that same kind of blue inside the project. So if you can imagine that, that's what you're going to see next time. I want it to be some kind of a face, but now it might be some kind of a person that's sad. You know what I mean? It's really going to be interesting. The only problem I have is I want it to be exposed because it's so big. How am I going to put the whole thing in? That's the only thing I have to worry about. So what I'm thinking is more of like a person doing something that's really sad. You know, something, you know, like that, or laying down sad or something like that. But it's going to be in blue. You have to use the activity in your mind. You're going to have to like use your abilities to decipher something with all these blues that's going on. But when I do a specific blue, I'm almost sure it's just going to be that. This is one blue. I don't know how close it's going to be to that blue, but I'm going to try and make it that same shade. Not so much dark, not so much light. And I'm definitely going to try not to, so it's not going to, so I definitely don't want it into like a bluish green or something. I want it to be showing that it's blue, but not the dark blue as you've seen there. So anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed this, and this is for Animar 111 Blue for you. Next time you see it, you're going to see the full project. Thank you very much for joining my artwork class. Bye.